Gers TV. My name's Simon Leslie.
I'm Gordon.
And I'm Ryan.
Good evening.
Gordon and Ryan are going to do the show today. I'll do behind the scenes, guys, and we're just going to talk about the season in large. Over to you guys.
Okay, first of all, how we doing, Ryan?
Fine.
Simon, how we doing?
I'm over it.
Over it. Simon, how you doing?
Can't complain, although I wouldn't mind complaining.
Listen, he's always complaining about one thing and another.
Never happy.
Just before we start the show, big shout out to the Arthur and Loyal for helping us to arrange a fantastic weekend in Blackpool again. So thanks very much, guys, and big shout out to Sinky and all the guys for organising that. Myself and Simon had a great time down there, so thank you very much for that, and hopefully see you again next year.
Looks had a good time, certainly.
Aye, well.
Looks very blue.
Also, the Blackpool True Blues, the actual event they ran, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It really was.
Absolute
well
big.
put together.
Yeah, big shout out to the Blackpool True Blues and the venue, and on the Friday night, the day before, the Gallant Pioneer had entertainment on and a great gig for us on the Friday night as well. So all in all, although it disappointing end of the season, it wasn't the disappointing part at the end of the season.
Aye.
So
Yep.
what's on the agenda tonight, Ryan?
So just to basically review what's went past us for the last 23-24 season. Obviously the last show of the season, and it's obviously good to look back sometimes when reflecting stuff, but I think we just need to maybe dissect what's happened to us over the last football season and try and get our heads round how we're sitting here without a decent amount of silver. We obviously won the League Cup, but I think, truth be told, we should have expected more, given some parts of where we were in the season, the position we were in parts of the season. I think we just need to get ourselves round and talk about it and invite everyone to comment and put their opinion in on it as well and hear the fans' view.
Yep, so we're live on our Facebook page, we're live on YouTube, and we're live on Twitter. So if you haven't added us on Twitter, it's just at the Gers TV, and we've got the links up for you watching on YouTube, etc. as well. So any comments you want to send in, please do. I remember this time last season, Ryan, and we just Michael Beale had just actually went on quite a good run of form. We beat Celtic 3-0 at Ibrox.
Yep.
And we were actually looking optimistically ahead to the start of the season at this time.
I remember Cantwell's first goal, the goal he scored.
Yeah.
Piled it through Joe Hart's legs, and although there wasn't much of a game to play for, it put down that marker that we all spoke about on the day.
And we were all filled with optimism. And then there was a mini revolution at the club. Who did we bring in and let go?
Well, leaving the Bill, obviously Al McGregor and Steve Davis. Fortunately for Davis, through injury, had to retire. Al McGregor, obviously, seen the end of his career, so they were the first two. Glenn Kamara was sold to Leeds, £5 million was the rumour on that one. Fashion Sakala, I think against his will, was asked to leave. Obviously went to the Middle East. Cholak, Kerry were a free, Morelos and a free, Hollander, Arfield, Hadji was sent out on loan after the Morton game. Lewis Mayo was released as well, who eventually signed for Kelly, and Alex Lowry was sent to Hearts on loan.
See, when you look back, I mean, even last season, it's bad enough that we've lost a few players this season with free transfers again.
Yep.
But looking back, Hollander, right, Swedish international player, didn't kick a ball for a year with injury.
Yep.
He's not missed a game since he left Rangers.
Yeah, he's done all right for that Danish club. I think as far as they did get relegated, but on a kind of personal level, I don't think he's missed many games for them.
Morelos and Ken, they haven't, hit the ground running anywhere else. But at the end of the day, that was still, 15 million worth of talent.
Aye,
If you include the Hollander, Morelos and Ken, you're probably talking somewhere between 15 and 20 million pounds for those players if they're under contract.
Well, if you'd sold Ryan Kent at the end of the 21-22 season, then how much more money would you been asking for him at that point? After he's obviously, taken Dortmund apart over two legs. Yep. He's been out. He's had a good game out in Leipzig as well. Yep. So he's one great goalkeeping save away for actually winning the Europa League.
Yeah.
So
and
he's walked out the door for nothing.
So we bring in players. We bring in quite a lot of players.
Yep.
We'll start. Probably the best signing off them has got to be Butland, really.
Butland, free transfer from Crystal Palace via Man United. On there, thought that was a great appointment, to be honest with you. On the back of losing McGregor, I thought Butland had every faith when he was signed. I thought he'd come for a good calibre, although maybe he's not been a first choice goalkeeper as much as what he would like to have been throughout his career. I had every expectation that the background he's came from, the fact he's played for England as well, I had every expectation he was going to be a good signing for us, and he is.
Yep. Then we bring in some forward-thinking players. We bring in Danilo, bring in Dessers.
Danilo, big money, aye, yeah. So Danilo was £6 million. I was speaking to a couple of friends who are Feyenoord fans at the time from Holland, the Dutch boys. They couldn't believe we'd paid £6 million for Danilo to be honest with you. He was a very much a bit part player for them.
Well, I think there's a few Feyenoord fans that are wondering how we paid £4 million for Dessers and all, but
aye,
so that, it was £10 million worth of strikers in from Feyenoord.
Yep.
Yep.
So Dessers came in from Cremonese.
Aye.
In Italy.
Sorry, Cremonese. He played for Feyenoord before that. Yeah, sorry, you're absolutely right, Ryan. Sorry. And we brought in Lammers as well.
Lammers from Atalanta for another £2.5 million. Sterling in a free transfer, Dowell in a free transfer as well. Who else we got here? Balogun was brought back. The back of Leon King was meant to have a bad injury. Wasn't as bad as first expected, but he got kind of rushed back to the club quite quickly. Abdallah Sima on loan. I think that's worked out not too bad. Jose Cifuentes for £1.5 million from MLS.
Yeah.
Hasn't worked out at all.
So a lot of players came in, and we'd also just signed Cantwell and Raskin not long before the January transfer window.
Yeah, I think that.
So
see, looking at our net spending, this is a concern for me. If you actually look at the amount of money that we basically brought in and the amount of money we've actually spent, our net spend is actually only £5 million last summer.
yeah, but what Rangers have had for the last few years is a very high wage bill, because we've got a very, very big squad, because we've got a lot of injuries.
Yep.
And we were carrying players. So season starts, and I think we started with a defeat at Kilmarnock. First game of the season.
I was there. Absolutely sick in my mouth.
It was well. I think that, truth be told, I think we had a qualifier before. Did we have a qualifier before?
No,
that?
first game was against
First
Kelly.
game was
Yeah,
Kilmarnock
first
away.
game opening against Kelly. Yeah, that was the first game of the season.
Absolutely horrific.
Not an event. We were shocking. Thought we laid a glove on them all day.
Yeah, it was absolutely horrific, and you know, listen, at the end of the day, it was a brand new team, but if you want to win the league, you need to go to places like Kelly and win. And,
it was a goal from just a very poor throw in, and it was a sign of things to come from. How weak we would be and how many stupid, very lazy kind of goals that we would lose. And you know, it's almost like the way that the ball was thrown into the box. Suter's been caught underneath it as well. Butland could probably do better as well. Just like, it's terrible, but you're thinking, all right, sometimes we will lose sloppy goals, and ultimately, the end of the day, football's all about scoring more goals than your opposition. We're down in Kilmarnock, first game of the season, new players there. I think, right, come on, get up there and score. These 2 or 3 goals, respond to that, and done absolutely nothing to them at all.
Then I think we played, is it Servette we played after
Servette at home, we played them. We got them at home.
So Servette at home, I think we won 1-0. I'm going to do this from memory. 1-0.
2-1.
2-1.
2-1. Yeah.
I knew it wasn't a big margin. So
So it wasn't particularly great. With that side of things, how we doing, Ross? Again, very.
Hi to Mark Aitken as well.
I never saw Mark. Sorry,
I'm not a big fan of the show, Mark. So
on every week. Yep, brilliant. So the Servette game, again, just very lacklustre, not a great performance, just doing enough basically to get it.
and then
That was sandwiched into a 4-0, we beat Livy 4-0.
well, funny enough, right, because I know we won 4-0 that game, but it was 1-0 at half time, and I remember, I was sitting beside Davey here, big friend of the show as well, so hi David if you're watching tonight as well.
Yep.
I was sitting next to him, and Livingston came out in the second half, and they had 2 absolute, not sitters, but they had 2 really big chances, and Butland made 2 cracking saves.
I
and
remember.
At that point, it was like Livingston were all over us. Now, Livingston get relegated with 24 points this season, and they came out at Ibrox and played really well. Then we got some really good goals, and credit to Kieran Dowell came on.
I think Dowell scored a cracker.
An absolute cracker that day.
I remember thinking to myself after that game that 4-0 really flattered us that day, to be honest with you.
God, aye.
So,
then we go to
Servette away, draw.
I watched it. It was me and Lewis. Lewis, if you're watching the show, but please come back if you want to come back on. But me and Lewis did a watch along, and after what it's been the first, it's been the first and last really, because Servette really could have been 3-0 up, 3 even 4 at half time. And they scored, and I remember Butland made at least 2 world-class saves that night.
Remember when he had down to his right-hand side in particular. It was a good save in the second half there. But I think the cracks were certainly showing there that people weren't very happy under the Beale regime. I think he would just kind of get out there and scraping these kind of, just doing enough in what we were doing. I think people were saying, look, we're doing what we need to do. We're out in the next round of the qualifiers. We are winning against but we're not playing well. And people were kind of seeing we weren't playing well. Next game after that was Yanis Hadji's, potentially his last game for Rangers. It was last game last season. Might be the last time we've ever seen him playing for Rangers, but beat Morton 2-1. Again, it was very unconvincing.
I'm pretty sure that...
we go 1-0 down?
Yeah.
A penalty?
Aye, we went 1-0 down, and I don't think we scored till about the 70 minutes or something.
Aye.
And we scraped through, and you know, I don't know what was right. I don't know what's happened close season because with Michael Beale, because the team was looking good. Michael Beale's first game in charge. I don't want to go back to the season after, the season before.
Aye.
But we were beating Hearts and Hibs 4-0 away and playing really well.
Yeah, we definitely got
the Celtic 3-0 at home and whatnot.
We got the new manager bounce that the board will always look for that new manager bounce. That's why they changed the manager. That they're obviously looking for a response from the players to try and change things. So we definitely got it under Beale. I think we went something like maybe 9 games undefeated or something, or 9 games in a row or something. We done.
Yeah, 9 or 10 in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, we done particularly well.
You're right. It was disjointed. There was no kind of tactical plan, but it would be interesting to know what's went on because something similar. We'll get to it, later on in the show. But something similar's happened this season when it's got to 8-9 months into Clement's reign and whatever. So it's strange. Anyway, so then we have another European qualifier.
Yeah, PSV after that. Went 1-0 up, I believe. See where we were battered in the first half.
Well, Seaman's come in and he's not had a great start to his Rangers career.
Yep.
And then he scores an absolute belter.
It was a worldie. I remember thinking at the first he's got a touch, like I say, at Raylands, it was shocking, and then runs up and slaps one in the top corner and sends in half time 1-0 up. But PSV were all over us. You could see they were a right good football team.
Oh, PSV are a good team, but have we not beat PSV the year before or season before?
We drew 2-2 at Ibrox again. It was. Remember one that Lawrence smashed them kind of out of the box. It was quite rainy that night. Goalkeeper fumbled it into the box, and then we beat them 1-0 away. Tillman robbed the defender of the ball and squared it for Cholak for a tap-in.
That's right, yeah.
Done well there.
Do you know what? I can't even remember what was the score in PSV away. To be honest, I can't remember what the score was. Was it 2-0? Was it 2-0 we lost? Or?
In the second return, we beat 5-1. They absolutely thrashed us. We collapsed.
That's right, actually, yeah.
We totally collapsed.
Yeah. So out of Europe, out of the Champions League.
Yep.
I remember having an argument with my mate because he was like, it's probably a good thing. And I said to him, not out the Champions League with 30-40 million guaranteed. How is that possible a good thing?
So across the city, things aren't going particularly well either at that point. They've obviously welcomed a manager back that's obviously split the camp for them. So things aren't, although we're not doing particularly great, they're not particularly great over there either. And if you remember, they came to Ibrox in September and we're thinking really good opportunity here and we should be beating them today.
So I think that you're absolutely right. So I think we maybe won a game before that and they had a few injuries if I remember correctly. And we were thinking to ourselves, well, if I'm going to beat them, and lay a marker down for the season. Because you're right, they had a different start for the season. Their defence
wasn't settling well. They were losing a lot of really silly goals. This is the goal, unfortunately, that we'll remember best because Dessers tackled their centre half. Basically, the defender came out with the ball, looked up, didn't see a pass, tried to turn himself back. Dessers went through, nicked the ball round him. Deemed a foul at the time, but in real play, when you're actually watching it in the stadium, I've got an absolutely cracking view from my seat. It's never a foul in a million years. He's laid the ball across the Kamal roof and we went 1-0 up. They totally legitly, absolutely fine as we expect. I think we're on about maybe 20-25 minutes at that point as well. So you're thinking, great, exactly where we should be, 1-0 up. And again, like we've seen it all season, that if things don't go away, and you've commented especially on this, where if we don't get a result through VAR or something like that, our heads seem to just
collapse.
We just seem to go in ourselves. I don't know what it is with them. They don't seem to react in the right way to say, right, well, that's fine. If we need to play against 12 men, we'll play against 12 men if that's the way you're wanting to do it. We seem very much to go in ourselves. They go up the park. Just a very speculative long ball. Goldson doesn't read it properly.
I forgot about that goal actually.
Goes over his head and Kyogo sticks it in for about 25-30 yards.
At first I actually thought it was offside. I think I was sitting next to my dad at the time and I think we looked at it and went, that must be offside. But then we didn't actually realise how bad a mistake for Goldson it was at the time.
It was bad, but it was just the amount of space we were giving them that day. It was pretty clear for the instructions to the managers, just sit off them. Don't put them under any pressure. I remember thinking to myself, they might as well give Cal McGregor the keys to the front door here because he's got that much space out there, he might as well have.
Yep.
It was shocking, to be honest with you.
So fast forward a few games later, and
Yeah.
we kind of are in a different run of form.
Aye,
and
so
Beale starts to get under pressure.
well, yeah. So the game after that, we beat Betis 1-0 at Ibrox. The following there, that was a 1-0 win. Ben Davies scored. Although I think it was eventually credited as an own goal, which was a shame for him. But we won 1-0, and then the last game after that was Beale's basically his last game. That was the last one we get beat off Aberdeen.
Yeah, I remember.
3-1.
So this is the curse of Gordy Bond, because in the last 5 years, 6 years, I've been abroad several times.
Yeah.
And Rangers have not won a game.
Every time you're abroad,
I've been abroad, and that was
I'm going to burn your passport.
So Aberdeen, me and my mates went to the. We were in Torredevecca. We were in the Ibrox bar in. Not, I can't even remember where we were, to be perfectly honest.
Isn't that bad, was it?
It was always
What island were you on?
It wasn't an island, it was a golf holiday. It was like near Mallorca and all that kind of stuff. So
Mallorca's an island.
Torremolinos or something, what it was called.
Torremolinos was a bar none in Beale you were in.
Yeah,
it's
aye.
bar none.
Right,
That's
okay.
where I was in
Aye.
2022. Yep.
But actually, I don't think it,
Aye.
The final.
Yep, that's right.
I don't actually think it was that, but I'll be honest. But we'll say that, right?
We'll
'cause,
do the now.
It was bar none you were in.
was it? Aye, okay, thanks,
Is
aye.
it Gers TV the thing?
Oh, that's right. Aye, so big shout out to the manager over there, because I actually did a live show for there on the Saturday before the game. Is it? That's right. Aye. Oh, that's right. It's a wee guy. It's the younger guy. Yeah.
Aye, comes from a family background, a pub owner, so
Aye.
I'm sure he'll do well.
Yeah. So shout out to them, and yeah, they made us feel very well. We did a wee live show for there, which was great, and
Yep.
and then the curse of Gordy Bond struck, and then Rangers go what 2-0. I think we not to go like 3-1 down or whatever. Scott Wright goes on, gets sent off. There's a
Sure. That was the most toxic I've ever seen Ibrox in my life.
Yeah.
That was really bad that day. That was the most amount of boo. I remember when Dessers gets subbed off, just boo, absolute boo. He just ran straight up the tunnel, absolutely bolted. I wouldn't expect if he actually ran up the tunnel and ran right straight to Edmondson Drive and ran home. To be honest, it was brutal.
So I think, to be fair to the board, after that day, it was a pretty swift decision. It was a Sunday.
It was a Sunday
afternoon.
Pretty much immediately. I think it was actually the Saturday night. He was told to come in and clear his desk on the Saturday night. I was receiving a bit of kind of texts, a wee bit of kind of rumours that he was basically in Murray Park with a black bag, and he was told after the game, that's you finished, don't come back. So the club announced it the Sunday there. So
very, it was Michael Beale again. You could argue. I mean, he was given money to spend. He's decided to let 5 or 6 players go on a free transfer.
He was given better money than Gerrard was getting. And Gerrard was delivering. Results. European qualification. Every season under Gerrard, there was progress. There was everything. You would get into a better European competition. You would get further in Europe. You would narrow the points mark. You would win in the Parkhead, beat them at Ibrox and stuff like that. There was you could quite clearly see under Gerrard things were improving, and the club, for whatever reason, just didn't financially back him. Yep. And they backed an unknown in Beale.
Yeah. So Beale leaves under a cloud. Some of those performances were ridiculous. I mean, Kilmarnock away, Aberdeen at home, absolutely shocking performances.
It's just the crap he was spilling us on the news and stuff like that.
You think we were winning every game 6-0?
Just I'm going to let the handbrake off and blah blah. It's like the same repeat crap over and over again. It's like, mate, you're a salesman. That's all you are. You're a charlatan. I just didn't trust him. I get fed up with him, and I'm glad, to be honest with you, he gets sacked. I didn't like the way he was in the stadium when Van Bronckhorst was under pressure. Like, the last game that when Gio had it against Aberdeen. Yeah. He was in the loud and he was kind of cutting about. You don't do stuff like that. And for me, it spoke of a bad character. And don't get me wrong, whilst he was in the position, I backed him as much as I possibly could, but I was glad he got sacked. He wasn't fun at all.
I think I have to say, I don't know, I'm be perfectly honest here, I was reasonably excited by the fact that we brought Beale on, because he was... It must go back to his Twitter account. Was it the Football Insider or something? Where he was constant, and now it turned out he was giving himself the credit. Yeah. But it was just all these rumours about how Michael Beale was the backbone of the Gerrard. It was all down to Beale.
He's the brains behind it all.
That kind of stuff, and it was weird. So, so Beale leaves, and a bit of speculation. But after a week, it becomes clear that the ex-Monaco manager, ex-Club Brugge manager, Philip Clement, becomes pretty, happy favourite, and then within a couple of days he comes in and
Yep.
again, new era.
New
for
era, aye,
Rangers
yep,
and
yep.
New excitement.
Well, I think there was a wee bit of thanks to Steve Davis for stepping in as well. Who obviously he stepped up whilst they were taking the time to get the new manager. He'd done a job that quite a lot of people probably would have said, no, I'm not doing that. It was, difficult situation, poison chalice and all this kind of stuff you could be described as. And he obviously, as a true Rangers man, stepped up and took responsibility for it. So got to thank him for that. But Clement was named, and to be honest, he total left field one for me. I never seen it coming at all. I was familiar that Club Brugge became a half decent team in Europe. I think they beat Atletico Madrid or something like that. Was it Real Madrid?
Yeah. They went to Bernabeu and won, and
Aye.
he'd done. So the first, it was a strange one because the first season he did quite well with Monaco. The first season got them into second place, third place, got them into the Champions League.
Yep.
And then the next season it wasn't too great after that. He was still. It wasn't like he wasn't getting relegated. It was like mid-table. It was like fifth. I think it was actually fifth or sixth. But Monaco, they've got the lifestyle over there. They wanted the results.
Higher expectations, isn't it?
He was like go for Monaco, went to Rangers, and I would say that he talked Madrid away from home, takes the Monaco job, and his first game, I think his first game was St Mirren away. And we had
Hibs at home. Hibs
was
at
it?
home.
Well, that's right.
Hibs at
I
home.
remember
Yeah.
that
I was
because,
on holiday that time. I missed it.
Aye.
Yeah. So I was Ibrox Bar in Costa del in Tenerife, taking it in.
There we
So
go.
I was well happy. I can remember where I was. No, but it was 4-0.
What was the game? What was the game? Did Neil get injured? Because Lovelace and was that Davis maybe?
St Johnstone away that was, mate. Yeah, mate. Aye.
No, I'm sure that was St Mirren because I was either that was the game Davis was in charge or the league game Davis was in charge because I remember Neil got injured. I say that's a shame because and Lovelace got injured that day as well actually.
Yeah, pulled his hamstring, I remember. For a change, yeah. I think that was actually quite. It must have been St Mirren. I think it may have been St Mirren. Just looking at the fixtures and the results here from what it was. His first game, he won 4-0. He had a great result in Slavia Prague. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yep.
So we'd obviously withdrawn against, we'd lost at Aris when Davis was the caretaker manager. So we're kind of at risk of going out of Europe. Slavia Prague had a right good performance that night, but we had fantastically defensively. I thought we were absolutely brilliant. Maybe a wee bit of luck a couple of times as well. We were right good 0-0. But the first half an hour, I remember they were absolutely battering us. He had a left winger, I think he's Serbian maybe, Bosnian maybe, playing the left hand side from Malmo on loan. I really like the look at him. Can't remember his name now.
Yep. I can't, but yeah, I remember the game, and then we had to go to Betis, and Dessers became Lionel Messi for that game.
Aye, I remember being up the top, and he was running through it, and I just remember, pass it, somebody help him, he'll not finish. Oh my God, he's finished it.
Mad.
I was crazy, absolutely crazy. But we beat Hearts. Remember his other one as well, his next game at Ibrox, beat Hearts 2-1 at home. Danilo scored the last minute goal header as well, which was a big one. I think that was the one that Shanklin scored the goal at the back post against Redvan. Just exploiting the height difference there. So I thought we'd done really well, and it was, you were thinking like these are games that under Beale we wouldn't have won this. This. So
they were, even under, you go back to Gio, and you said these are games under Gio as well, we wouldn't win.
Aye, yeah. So scoring last minute goals and winning games like this is great. Like getting 0-0s away in Europe when we're really under the caution stuff like this is better. Like it was showing real signs of improvement. It was what we were wanting to see, and it was getting us excited. It was getting us back talking and getting us smile back in our face definitely at that point. 5-0 away to Dundee was the next one. That was the night, the famous Pyro night.
And then Lammers scores a belter for 25 yards and all.
I gave us that.
Aye, more likely.
The game was heavily lead that night. We were 20 minutes because I think the team were late coming from their training play. I think they were maybe through in St Andrews or something, maybe having dinner. And they were late getting there because of the roadworks. And then somebody set the fire alarm off. I don't know who it was, but
Dundee away was a bit pitiful for us last season, wasn't it? In general, we go look back. So then I think is it a League Cup semi-final we've got against Hearts?
Exactly, mate. Yeah, beat them 3-1, then beat Prague 2-1 at Ibrox. Livy, a draw at Pataudry. It's a bad night against Aris at Ibrox as
Remember
well.
that draw at Pataudry because Simon and I were up at the Iona and Mill Supporters Club doing.
Yeah.
Derek Johnston and Bob Malcolm.
Brilliant.
With Boffy. So hi Boffy, hope you're well.
Yep.
I think I've seen you watching there, and we had a great night there. And we were on the car back and listening to the radio, and we didn't seem to play that well. Then we got a penalty in the 93rd, 94th minute.
Yeah, I think he kind of rescued a point for us there, but it's just shows how hard a place even Aberdeen when they're not even playing very well. You know,
Well,
Pittodrie's such a hard place to go and try and
I
get
think
us
at
up.
that point Aberdeen were second bottom or third bottom as well, which didn't, you know, they ended up being fourth bottom or whatever. But so League Cup final to look forward to.
Yep, League Cup final to look forward to. 1-1-0 in that one.
Not a great, it has to be said, not a great performance that day either.
No, not
But
there.
again,
But your captain steps up with the goal in the final.
grinding out the result, and
Yep.
you know, winning our first trophy, Clement came in, so I think at that point been there for what, maybe 7 or 8 weeks.
Yep, that's it. I mean, it's really, he's just pushing towards a transfer window. At that point, you're thinking, right, we're getting there, we're catching. I think they were dropping points on occasion as well, and we were just kind of creeping back up on them.
Yep.
I think we managed to get the gap narrowed down to maybe about 3 or 4 at that point as well, when Clement was about 8 when it first started. So we're on their coattails, we're coming after them. Then we suffered a bad loss at Parkhead on the New Year's game.
Yeah, so again, we shoot ourselves in the foot, we sit off in the first half, we let Maeda go up the left, we let Kyogo, I think Kyogo scores again that day as well.
Yeah, I think it was the one that, was it Bernardo scored the first one? A volley. Ball comes into the box.
Then we get a goal, Tavernier, to credit to Tavernier. Balogun gets sent off, first, and Tavernier scores an excellent free kick. We, you know, maybe, I can't remember exactly, so correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 10 minutes to go.
Yeah,
roughly speaking, 10 minutes to go.
This is the one where the referees don't shine themselves in glory, unfortunately, either, with the kind of VAR decision where Johnson's basically pawed the ball at the box. He's put it with his hand and he's...
That's right, yeah. So
he's handled it.
That's another goal chopped off, and you know, the SPL are quick to publish the picture if, you know, you go back half an hour before, is that offside?
Yeah, so the thing at that point was that if it was offside, right, if apparently the VAR decision was that it wasn't a penalty kick, how we can basically just handball the ball and slap the ball at the box and tackle the guy effectively with your hand and it's not a penalty, is fine. Especially when you see the one that John Lundstrom turned his back on the ball at Kilmarnock and it's a penalty kick. Apparently when he gets shot.
Especially with, as you've just rightly said there, Ryan, especially with some of the handballs you see now.
The other ones, some of them are ridiculous. It's too much. But if that's not as clear and obvious a handball you can get there, so then it goes through VAR and it's decided, no, that's it. And I vividly remember Nick Walsh going like that, no, carry on. Now, they then cook the books, get to half time, right, we need to come up with a story here, blah, blah.
So I think they've realised, I think people have watched that and went, how the hell is that not a yellow card? How that?
Aye.
And it's a sending off as well.
Well, they then come back and say, no, that the decision was actually offside. Now, if the decision's offside, he then goes like, he blows his whistle, he goes like, VAR, offside, indirect free kick, he puts his hand up in his ear. He didn't do that. He waved play on. So that wasn't the decision at the time. They can go back and try and cook the books and try and change the story all they like. The on-field decision with the referee at the time was he said, play on. He didn't make the indication it was an offside decision. So they're lying. And they didn't bring out the VAR recording after that because they knew they'd be caught out for lying.
Yeah. So again, unfortunately, as much as we were gutted, as much as that should have been a goal and sorry. No, there's no guarantee it should have been. I think it was, you know, either it should have been a penalty at least.
A penalty kick.
So penalty kick, red card, and then, you know, we go in maybe, I think at that point, was Celtic 1-0 up it or 2-0 up at that point?
One, I think.
But we would have the momentum certainly because
it's the second
the likelihood is Tavernier would have scored the penalty.
It's the second game in a row that, VAR's interfered for the second game in a row.
Off the park, down to 10 men coming out the second half, and we've got ourselves a chance here.
Yep.
So unfortunately, though, same old story. We're not able to, claw back. We did actually play quite well with 10 men. After half score, we did rally. We played well for the last 10 minutes, but it was one of those games you just thought to yourself, we could probably not play here for another 20 minutes and no score.
Probably still be there.
And then Kelly wraps up the New Year, the festive period with a win against Kilmarnock at Ibrox. Yeah,
that was Fabio Silva's debut, I think, as well.
And then there's a kind of 3 or 4 week break.
January. So January time we brought Diamandi in from Notchland, a loan with an obligation to buy in the summer. So we'll just wait for that now to just get basically finalised. Cortez come in from RC Lens on loan. Silva obviously as well was brought in on loan as well.
£40 million player.
40 million pound, 35, 40 million pound, 80 grand a week player. So allegedly.
There you go.
Yeah.
But were you disappointed that we didn't sign any more players?
Absolutely. And there's one in particular that we all spoke about, and I don't think any I can't remember any player being spoken about more by the Rangers fans and been universally accepted. Now, some people had their doubts about him. Don't think he's good enough, we should be looking for better, blah, blah, blah. But I think by the end of the transfer window, every single person was in agreement to win this league. If we were going to go out and do what we need to do, we need to sign this guy. And we were quoted a certain amount of money, and we just didn't have it.
Because I think that at the time we'd agreed that, you know, Daniel's out for the rest of the season, or looking, you know, maybe not back till at least March or April anyway, which is the majority of the season anyway.
Can't trust Kemar Roof.
Kemar Roof doesn't.
Can't trust him.
Can't trust him to play more than a game at a time, a game every 2 months.
Yep.
And obviously Dessers, I think, was still probably riding on the back of that goal at Betis.
Aye, but even if
a few goals,
regardless if Dessers is playing well and scoring goals, it's bad practice to run at the end of the season, because if it would be our sod's law that if he would get injured, you know.
Which
so
he did in the end.
Aye.
So yeah, I think that, you know, for all the, you know, the debate about Shankland being good enough, not good enough, the fact of the matter is he was Player of the Year and he was the top goal scorer in the league. Now, people say, oh, he scored penalties, right? He only scored 3 penalties last season.
So Tavernier.
Right. So the problem, the fact of the matter is, we're not going to go out and spend £10 million on a striker during the January window, right? But with Shankland, for me, it was a no-brainer, because he's going to get you goals, and even if it's a short-term measure, we'll sell him on, we'll make our money back.
Yeah, everyone talks about the player trading model, and we should only be signing players that we can make better and sell on for a profit. Potentially, we've missed out on £60 million because we've not spent £5 million on him.
Yeah, if we bring in Shankland, I maintain this, and strike me down if I'm wrong here, but if we buy Shankland, we win the league.
Yep, I agree with you. Totally agree with you.
I think I can't, for the life of me, I don't know if Clement. I don't know if Clement actually thought we've got enough to win the league here without him.
I don't think the money was there. I don't think we had the money.
But we brought in Silva, and we must. I know he's on loan, but the way we must have paid something.
There was no loan fee, no loan fee at all apparently, and the wages were getting covered. So there was nothing there. Cortez was a loan with an obligation to buy. That's now been extended for another year, so there. And Diamande as well was another one, was a loan with an obligation to buy this summer. So there is literally no money in the transfer window. We've made space for Diamande and Cortez, Silva to come onto the wage bill by shipping off Cifuentes and Lammers, they've not even lasted 6 months at Ibrox. That was £4 million worth of spending in the summer that's out the door after only 6 months. So who's doing the due diligence on these guys?
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is that we've still got all these players that are, you know, picking up that are out. I mean, at one point I think we had a whole team out injured.
Aye.
And they're picking up, you know, they're on 20-25 a week.
Yep, Lawrence is getting injured, Cantwell suffering injuries, Matondo, Ridvan, they're all kind of getting all these wee niggly injuries.
Beale.
Yep,
Raskin
Raskin had a period out as well.
Yep. So
Sima as well.
Sima was out for 3 months.
Going to the African Nations Cup and getting injured.
Yep.
So
disappointed not to bring in a striker. But to be fair, in February and into March, we're going on a good run.
Yeah, we do. We come back. I mean, we go on a decent run basically throughout the month of January and February, to be honest with you. You're looking at wins at Dumbarton, Hibs away, St Mirren away, home against Livingston, beat Aberdeen, comfortably beat Ayr, which was a nice result to beat Ayr, considering who the manager was. Aye. Remember the one that we beat Ross County 3-1 at Ibrox, and the Ross County goalkeeper said we straight in for a drug test after it. Was it something like 40 shots we had in goal that night? The guy was a
Scottish game or something.
Oh, he was a maniac, absolute maniac. I'd never seen anything like that. I actually got to the stage every time he saved, I just burst out laughing because it was so obscene what was going on.
That speaks for our finishing.
Yeah, possibly, but he was incredible. Sometimes you've seen it. I think we've seen it ourselves sometimes with maybe Andy Gorham back in the day, where he's just like nothing's getting past him. It doesn't matter what you do to him, you're just not going to get the ball past him.
There was a game at Ibrox a few years ago with McGregor. I think it was during COVID, and McGregor must have had 3 or 4 world-class saves, and you're like, he's not getting beat today. Nah,
it's just one of the. Some days it just falls into place. Beat 5-0, beat Hearts 5-0 at home as well, which was a great result. Kilmarnock away.
By that point, we had narrowed the points gap.
Aye, yeah, we'd actually been. I think we'd gone top of the league at that point.
Yeah.
The beating the Ross County game, which was on Valentine's Night, it was a rearranged fixture, remember?
That's right.
So that was the game in hand. I think that was the one that took us top of the league that night. I think we were 2, maybe 3 points clear.
And at that point, I can't remember the exact timings of it, but I know Celtic were going away and get beat at Hearts away, etc. So we all thought to ourselves, wait a minute here.
Well, that came.
We're in with a shout here.
That actually came just after there, so we lost to Motherwell 2-1 on, I think it was the Saturday. Theo Beale basically took goals into town.
For me, that's a game where it all starts to go a little bit wrong.
That's when it goes wrong. Suter doesn't have a great game either, but basically Theo Beale has Goldson on toast. It was incredible. Started with a kind of a poor throw in again. Suter, for whatever reason, wants to come across and do Ridvan's job. Gets caught underneath the ball. Guy goes into the box. Goldson's ball watch and squares it. Theo Beale scuffs it into the corner. Poor, very, very poor for us. I think we then equalise, maybe. And then Motherwell got his part and make it 2-1. Guy takes the ball at the halfway line basically and just absolutely just ragdolls Goldson. It was so poor.
First time Motherwell had beat one at Ibrox for 25-30 years odd.
So poor. Yep.
In between that, we had a European.
Yeah, so the week after, in true Rangers fashion, we go out to Portugal and play one of Portugal's best clubs and draw 2 each out there. After losing 2-1 to Motherwell.
It was an absolutely great performance as well. We probably should have won that game.
Yep.
Sod's Law, Golson. Now, Golson's our top goals. Golson's been taking top goal scorer against us because he's scored 3 own goals in 3 years or whatever.
The one out there, I've never seen an own goal like that. I mean, it's just the ball. I mean, we go 1-0 up. Tom Lawrence scores a great goal. Like, beauty, never saw that coming. Thanks very much. I remember that was a great goal. Aye, they equalised through a penalty.
That's right.
Which arguably should have been a penalty because Suter's nodded the ball into his own hand, and by the actual. And if it was in Scotland, it wouldn't be given, but in the European VAR, apparently it is given. So it's a bit strange. So we're playing different sports. And then we do Sean Sterling scores his first goal for the club as well. I think it was his first goal for us. And it's just like, just sit back going, what's going on here? That's mad.
Because it was 1-0, 1 each, then 2-1 to Rangers, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And then Butland's done his typical. He's had a few absolutely brilliant saves for us. They're knocking the ball, but absolutely brilliant. They were just, to be honest with you, missing. They were a striker away from an absolutely fantastic team.
I mean, they ended up getting all the way to semi-final, I think, and just getting beat by Marseille. But anyway, so unfortunately we go out, and but we're still in. We're still either top of the league or thereabouts. And then I think to the end, it just for the most part seems to all go wrong. But I think what's happened is that we go have a couple of weeks off at the national break. Then we come back, and then unfortunately for every Rangers fan in the world and the team, I go on holiday for a week.
Oh no!
And in that week we play Dundee away in Ross County. Dundee away in Ross County away.
Ross County away first of all.
And Dundee away.
I was in the back of the 3 each draw.
Aye.
Which
and the fact that the game kept being cancelled.
Aye.
So.
Aye. Yeah. So far this season, I've been away for 3 games, and the record is played 3,
lost 3,
lost 2, drawn 1.
No, honestly, see when Rangers are playing. Honestly, see every weekend the Rangers are playing. I'm going to be standing at the airport, make sure you're not going to fight.
We've dropped 80 points.
Honestly, right?
Honestly,
so you need to check in, right?
We played absolutely honking as well. But I think, if I remember correctly, the moral of the story was that in each game, Dessel's a Mr. Sitter.
Yeah, I've listened, no surprise. One in particular against Ross County was beaten that. It was brutal, absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
We draw 3 each with them at Ibrox. First half performance was unacceptable.
First half performance was the worst I've seen it in years. That's going probably back to Kachina.
Yeah, and it was a must-win game because of the results the previous week. You're looking at it saying, I wouldn't say it was a must-win. We were 2 points clear at that point. And you think to yourself, we win this, we're putting ourselves in good stead. It was taking us into just before the split at that point. We had Ross County and Dundee, which we thought were, must-win, not must-win games, very run-of-the-mill games, what I'm looking for. Takes us into the split at that point. We're 5 points clear going into the split. It's all in our favour at that point. And we play absolutely dog shit in the first half. Tavernier for that first goal, I will still never understand what happened. That one.
Right, so I remember saying this on the show after it and at the pub after it as well, right? It was horrifically windy that day.
Yeah.
Right, it was genuinely gusty to win, and as soon as the game kicked off, and I mean this sincerely from the bottom of my heart, because me and my mate were sitting in the Govan rear, and a genuine big gust of wind came, And I hope, so probably a better expression, I hope that has really affected Tavernier's timings, because, and I swear to God, mate, there was literally as soon as the game kicked off, and it went about a bit, but as soon as the Celtic player hit the ball forward, that's when the gust of wind really came, and it was that day it was 50 miles per hour going to the game. Like, it was really horrific. Yeah. And I remember thinking, and then so the ball, it does. Looking back, you can't see. So see, looking back at the replay, you can't see it, you can't tell, right? But the ball seemed to move, and I actually thought that Tavernier, it looked from us from behind that Tavernier kicked it against.
Aye. Yeah. Well, Tavernier's shouted over at goal.
Whoever it is.
Tavernier's shouted over at Goldson, that was your ball. You know, Butlin's like, I mean, you've got Tavernier, Goldson and Butlin, who are all three very experienced professional football players. One of them's got to deal with that, or one of them's, whether physically or verbally, takes control of the situation. You've got a man on your left shoulder, the ball's there, shield it, Goldson's to your side there, Butlin's there for a pass out. Either of those guys can take it. Even kick the ball out for a corner kick if you have to. You could have booted the ball out for a shy, doesn't do that. He boots the ball off the guy and it's a fluke. Right, there's no doubt about it, it's a fluke to there. He's not coming in and like, I'm just going to let this guy boot it off me and land in the back of the net.
Yeah, you're right. Tavernier has kicked it off.
He's kicked it off.
It looked as if we didn't see the deflection. We didn't see that. Yep. It looked, see from our angle, it looked as if a gust of wind had came. Maybe had a slight impact to the flight of the ball, and Tavernier's misjudged it and misconnected. And Maeda, I think, it looked from us like he'd volleyed that into the back of the net.
Where I was sitting in the club deck as well, I actually thought he'd let him go over his shoulder and get a volley in and go. And I was like, the fact that it's not excusable the way it's went in. He should have booted it at the park earlier. You know, somebody's got to go in there and help him. If the ball's taking a big gust of wind, like you're saying, maybe you could have seen that I never saw. He's got to shout, I need help here. He's got to be able to turn around. God, even see if he turns around and even just fouls the guy, just shields it. You know, there's that thing that professional footballers all started doing over the last couple of seasons, where they go up to the ball and they stand still and let the guy push them over, and you get a foul 99 times out of 100 for it. He could have just done that and try to shield the ball and let him push him over.
Yeah, and there's a couple of reasons why it's a goal in the first place, because Celtic have identified our right wing in these games. Both, to be fair to them, both wings, especially with Borna in the team. But they've identified that we are vulnerable down the wings, and their first attack was down the wing and they got a goal for it.
20 seconds.
And it's absolutely horrific, and it's just it's a total deflation. But again, we came out, we're not, you know, Clement, I remember correctly, Clement came out and said that he said before the game the first 20 minutes are crucial, and we were 2-0 down in the first 20 minutes.
But I knew we weren't going to win that game, and I draw back. Remember the one that we were 3-0 down at Hibs? Hampden. It was a cup semi-final. It must have been a cup semi-final.
I was actually the couple of days before Gio was in charge, because the youth team manager David McCallum was.
Conor Golson's after going like, we lost that game. There's no way we're coming back for it. We're in that dressing room at half time, knowing we've got no chance. Why would you?
That's horrific. I know.
What are you freaking talking about, man? Like
that's what goes back. That's what ties into, you know, what we've been saying about how the heads go down.
And that's the mentality that's still in the dressing room today.
Yeah.
Like, we were 2-0 down, 3-0 down. So we've got no chance of coming back for this. Whereas, you know, teams that, I mean, remember the ones that they would all go in, they'd have a Barney, and Smith would let them go at it for a few minutes. Go, listen, just don't use go, just use sort it amongst yourselves. And then Smith would come in and they'd just go quiet and say, right, he's done. We're going to go out and win this game now. And that mentality is gone. And it's a poisonous mentality to think if you go as much as 2 or 3-0 down, the game's lost.
Yeah.
No way, man. No way.
Absolutely, mate. You're absolutely right. And then the split comes and goes, and then I think did we play St Mirren at home, or who did we play at home? I think we won, to be fair. We got a goal down.
Aye, well, we're 2-1 against St Mirren. Again, Jack Butlin, a couple of absolutely fantastic saves. He's got one in particular, the boy hit it for point blank, and he's just stuck his right hand up, and he's made a fantastic save. He's had a save just in the first half as well, down low to his left, that he saved. So Butlin's, you know, won his that game. Dessler scores a goal with maybe about 10 minutes to go. It was a really good cross in for Tavernier. We go 1-0 down against Kilmarnock because of Tavernier own goal. Come back and win 4-1.
And then, I mean, by that point, Celtic consolidated their lead at the top. But you know, it's like the eternal hope of football. You say to yourself, we go to Parkhead, we get the win, and we've got a chance.
We've got to win, and then it's still down at that point. It's down to goal difference because they're coming away with bigger and better results than what we're getting. But we need to go to Parkhead to level it, and I think we're looking to win at least 2-0 to give us a fighting chance at it to get it.
Looking back, I mean, obviously the football fans, but looking back, in all honesty, at the time we're like, yeah, might get a result and all that. But see, looking back, we really probably had no, with that team that was playing that day, and their mentality and the way they think about things, we probably had no chance of winning that game.
No, John Lundstrom was an absolute disgrace that day. An absolute disgrace. It's just his seed went early doors. I don't know what it was. He can't, for whatever reason, play against their midfield. He's, when there's Hatate, O'Reilly and McGregor in there, he can't play against them. He's just not got it.
They've got the energy and they've got the motivation, and we lacked that. And so then again, it's the same old story at Parkhead. We actually play. We come out the second half. We get to go back. They miss a penalty, and to be fair, we didn't. They always looked as if they could score, but we kind of huffed and puffed a bit.
They didn't need to do anything. So we were 1-0 down. Barisic is fucking hopeless as usual. They've lost Lundstrom's. So between Barisic and Lundstrom, the edge of the box, O'Reilly's ended up with space and he's just hit it with his left foot into the corner there. Thinking, Christ almighty, forget it. Ball then comes in. It's the laziest twist ever. And for whatever reason, Lundstrom stuck his right foot at it. Half-arsed and it's ended up in the bottom corner. We then got the park and score, which was like, what's happening here? Because I've already hit the fits of rage and I'm raging and I'm not even wanting to watch it anymore. I'm hitting the...
I think they go 2-0 up, and then you think within a minute we'd scored.
We'd get ran up and just hit them a wee quick sucker punch like beauty, right, okay, we've got a chance here. And then for whatever reason, John Lundstrom decides that he wants to run into their half and attack their right back and flattens the boy. Stupid challenge. It's a red card all day, especially in the age of VAR, and just frankly gets himself sent off, and the league's over, basically. The league's over. So what you were saying about us playing well at that point, I agree with you. But the thing is that for Celtic, they've won a draw actually suited them. So see, as long as they don't lose the game, so they're just playing. They're playing it 2-1 up. They're like, we'll just hold the ball here. We're playing against 10 men. We don't need to go and score another goal. We just need to make sure we don't lose 2 goals, and we're absolutely fine here. So they just game management, which is something again that we've been lacking there, and they just went out and passed the ball about for the next 45 minutes and won the league.
Absolutely. And then the last couple of games of the season, a bit of a damp squad, and we finish off.
2-0 down against Dundee at home. The next game out of there, and you're sitting there like it's believable unbelief. You're sitting there watching like we're 2-0 down against Dundee, who are absolutely miles behind where we should be.
I actually think that if we'd lost that, ended up losing that game, the Clement might have been under. I don't think he would have went in the end, but he would have been under severe pressure.
Yep, but we're losing that stupid goals. We're giving teams leads. We're giving Celtic a 2-0 lead before we want to start scoring goals. We're giving Dundee 2-0 leads before we start to want to score goals again. We're then 3-1 up at Tynecastle, and by all accounts, it looks as if we had a no bad game. We lose 2 goals in the last 10 minutes, and we end up drawing a game, which is...
Yeah, again, there was quite a interesting first half, because Dessers was 1-on-1 with the keeper, misses it, and then Shank was 1-on-1 with the keeper, Buddy's at the back.
The one that McCausland nipped off the defender and squared it, which was reminiscent of Tillman's to Chola, who we were just speaking about earlier on, and Gordie, my Moss scores that. Mate, honestly, my Moss scores that. It was...
What the viewers don't know is that Ryan's Moss is actually an ex-professional footballer.
I can assure you, no, she's no. But no, it was horrific, and it was the epitome of Dessers' season, missing that, and you just look at it and say, like,
what's the point?
It's like, the guys who've let go in recent seasons, Itten, Cholak, Morelos, all these guys that could score goals. Roof to a certain extent as well. Roof's fit at this point and not in the squad.
Yeah.
Does he score that? It's bonkers. Is there a kid in Murray Park that could score that? Like, it's just no right.
Aye. So then, as always happens with football, the eternal hope then kicks in.
Oh aye, we're going to Parkhead. We're going to Hampden. We're going to win the cup, aren't we?
Win 4-0.
Oh aye, well that's it. This is us putting the marker down for next season. The league's done, and they'll still be too elated for that. We're going to sucker punch them and stuff.
Yeah, so the eternal flame of home flickers for a few days, and we go. And to be fair, I thought first half Celtic dominated without really threatening too much. We didn't really play too well, but at the same time, I think we had a game plan that day. We got to the second half, we bring Clement on, and we started to threaten.
Yep.
and we get the goal that's not a goal
I
again.
thought game plan in the first half, I thought we'd done absolutely fine. We obviously weren't threatened. I think that the plan for me, was to get to 60 minutes and bring Steam on. Obviously with the injury to Dessers at half time. He's burst his Achilles, I think it was, or something. He's done something to his ankle.
Yeah.
He's taken a bad tackle. Again, in the box from Carter Vickers, which a bad tackle in the box which leads to an injury and it's not a penalty kick. Okay. So that leads to there. In fairness to them, could they have had a penalty in the first half with Ben Davies' handball? Maybe. I've seen them given all season. So you've got to kind of put fairness in that kind of side of things. We go 1-0 up again, and doesn't suit VAR that Rangers are winning, and guess what? Nico Raskin, who's 5'5", apparently is manhandling a 6'6" goalkeeper that, to the extent where he's pushing him off the ball. It's nonsense, absolute nonsense. What's going on? The standard of the referee in this country, and in particular towards ourselves, there's other clubs have suffered from it, there's other clubs have made mention of it, but I can't believe how bad it is, to be honest with you. It's so bad.
And we've talked about this, till we're blowing the face on here, excuse the pun.
Yep.
But I don't think they're particularly biased one way or the other. I just think they're incompetent.
Aye, genuinely, that's what I meant by the Davies handball, alleged handball. That could, I'm sitting watching it in real time. It happened right in front of my face, and I just turned around and thought, that's a penalty kick straight away.
Yeah, absolutely.
I felt that was a penalty. So
then the game kind of kicks on. No one really looks particularly threatening. We have a couple of wee kind of. Simon's got a wee shot that trundles wide.
Yep.
Celtic don't look particularly great, but unfortunately,
we bring Scott White on thinking he's a number 10, and take Cantwell off. So Scott Wright gets brought in as a number 10, and we fire the ball into his feet thinking he's someone like Lionel Messi and he can control the ball when he couldn't actually control a bag of cement. He loses the ball, Bernardo picks it up, runs up the park, hits a shot, Butland flaps it, Celtic score.
Yeah,
game over.
That's it, and not going back for that.
It's madness. I couldn't understand the Scott Wright substitution at all and taking off Cantwell. I thought Cantwell, don't get me wrong, he wasn't having his absolute very best game, but he's a match winner on the park.
Neither side had a good player that day.
Nah.
Cantwell was one of the better players.
Yep.
I thought Raskin actually played quite well. Yep. I thought Ballard and Davis looked pretty strong.
I thought the defence looked really good.
Tav had a dodgy first 20 minutes, but he got better throughout the game.
Yep. You can see Ridvan was struggling as well. Ridvan never went over the halfway line the entire game. Maybe on instruction, but maybe through fitness. Yeah. When we brought Matondo, and I thought Matondo looked threatening. I thought Seamer, and I truly thought, we're going to go up and win this cup here. We thought we were by far the most threatening team. We just couldn't lay a glove on their goalkeeper. We just couldn't shoot. We just couldn't get a goal.
I've thought that all season we struggled. We scored goals and we've had results, but there's been between our attacking midfielders, our wingers, and our strikers. There's been a lack of cohesion, a lack of what's the word? It's a lack of chemistry. It's because we've had injuries, but then we've had three at one point. We had John Sterling starting at right mid or right wing. And we've got, take Scott Wright out of the equation, right? But technically we've got Scott Wright, Ross McCausland, Ryan Matondo, three right wingers on the bench, and we're playing a right back at right wing. We brought in Cortez, who's had looked all right. You can't really judge him, but he had a couple, I remember one of the games, I can't remember who it was, but it was a home game and he played really well. I think he scored a good goal.
Scored a good goal, it was the 5-0 against Hearts.
That's the game.
Scored a great goal.
So played well, and he gets injured unfortunately, same old story.
Yep, Plastic Park at Kilmarnock took his knee off him.
There was just a disconnect between, for me, the disconnect. We brought in Silva, and Silva's playing centre forward, playing left wing, not really playing his best position. And with Lammers and Dessers up front for the first half of the season as well. For me, there was just that there wasn't that cohesion, chemistry, whatever you call it. There was just something missing.
I don't think any blame for that falls on the manager's door, to be honest with you. And I know that some people have said that he hasn't picked the right team on occasion and stuff like that, but ultimately at the end of the day, he's not really had much to do. The signings that he has made, Cortez, like you mentioned there, did look great. He signed Diamandou, who I think will be a better player when there's better players around him. I think Diamandou will come really good for us. He I think, as close as what we got, ultimately at the end of the day, the players never won the games for them. The last 15 games, listen, I've made this restart for you. In the last 15 games in all competitions, we only won 6 games. We drew 4 and we lost 5. That's not a league championship winning team. If you're not winning at least 12 of those last 15 games, you're not going to win trophies. At the end of the day, that's no teams they're not going to be on the podium at the end of the season lifting silverware with form like that. It's just not going to work.
And then to wrap up the season, we announced that our after players mainstays of the team.
Aye, so
maybe not mainstays of the playing the games, but the mainstays of the squad and the group, if you like, as it's now called in modern day football.
Borna Barisic, to be honest, I'm delighted, is gone.
I thought a couple of years ago he was a great player, but he's since his contracts went closer to expiring, his form's got worse and worse.
Yeah. There's certain circumstances, and I started to notice things in 2022 with Barisic that when things were starting to get quite important, quite high pressurised, Barisic shit the bed.
He didn't turn up or wanted off.
He's wanting off, basically never showed up, injured or wanted substituted. When it got to things like extra time, we were extra time in Braga at Ibrox, and he knew that possibility, I'm going to have to hit a penalty here, I want subbed off. Same when it was, I think it was in the Europa League final, I want subbed off. The cup final against Celtic, and when that was the one that it was the cup semi-final, when Bassi went out left back and charged on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
He's the certain situation. There was one that I think he tried to throw in a sickie this year. He phoned Clement and said, I'm sick, I'm not coming. I think it was one of the Celtic games, and Clement said to him, you will be here this week, you're not sick, get to Ibrox. So there's certain circumstances, I think he's just down tools, to be honest. I'm glad there was one that was the one that we lost 3-0 at Park Kennedy. It was a midweek game under Gio, and Leo Abado came right across his back post twice, and I was like, mate, get out the door, you're finished, done. So I'm glad he's gone, to be honest with you. Ryan Jacks, a guy I feel sorry for, to be honest with you, been unlucky with injury. So he's obviously, his contract's run out, and the club's not in a position where we can renew his contract.
You can't justify it. He's not had enough game time.
No.
And then he plays. Then again, look at the Scotland game last night, albeit a friendly. He's played more minutes for Scotland in the last 3 months than he's played for Rangers.
Yeah. So maybe a circumstance of the timing and stuff like that. But I think overall in his career, I think he's had some great moments for us. Obviously, his goal in the Scottish Cup final in the extra time game that we won.
Game at Iverton or Gerrard when we beat Celtic for the first time in a few years as well.
Aye, yeah. So he's had some great moments. Personally, I particularly loved that goal you're talking about, because he scored the goal right through Scott Brown's legs, and
that's right, yeah.
he basically ran the length of Ibrox, and he was running up and he was pointing up to his family. They had a box up in the club deck, and he's pointing up a love heart up to his family. For me, seeing that and he's run up to his family, that meant a lot to me. It showed me how much it meant to him, and that meant a lot to me at the time. So I do feel sorry for him the way things have worked out. So it's a shame. Kamal Roof is finally out the door, the highest earner at the club. So that's going to certainly help with the recruitment for the summer. John Lundstrom, not surprisingly.
Just a couple of mentions for Kamal Roof, because we'll never forget that goal away in Belgium at halfway line.
Aye, yeah. Listen, he's some great. During the 55 season, I thought he was pretty prolific for us as well. Him and Morelos scored a lot of goals that won us the league this year. And it was just another example, maybe somebody who was just maybe kept on that just a wee bit too long, where he could have maybe been sold on. Obviously scored the winner on Betis as well in the game we spoke about earlier on. He was the one that scored the third goal.
So he scored some pretty valuable goals, winning us some money, because I think that was for that game we qualified for the group, the Europa League that game. So yeah, good again, but he just at Rangers you can't be paying 25-30 grand a week for
upwards of 30.
9 games a season.
He's upwards of £35,000 a week allegedly. So it's a lot of money to be sitting there for not doing anything.
And then Lundstrom, you just about mentioned Lundstrom.
Lundstrom, again, just I don't know what's happened there. I think the contract negotiations have just broken down. It's basically the club can't agree on a deal, and he's there.
He's down in the last. You've seen it in the last 4 or 5 weeks as well. He kind of down tools as well. But then I personally think there's an argument to say that he was playing too many games as well.
Yeah,
he played, and if people forget that, people look back and they go, it wasn't like that, Matt. It wasn't like that in my day, whatever. And you forget that there's 60 games a season now. Well, back in the day there was 40 tops, 40 maybe mid to low 40s games. Now there's another 20 games a season on top of that. You get all the qualifiers, and you get the group games, etc.
I mean, he's a fit guy. I've seen like some of his running stats and stuff. He's a worker. You can't deny he's a worker. And although that, no, arguably that game at Parkhead they lost the plot and the own goal and the red card and stuff like that. He scored a goal at Ibrox in the semi-final at Ibrox that took us to a European final.
Exactly.
So there's that one.
Yeah. Always have that.
He owes me a pint of beer as well. I lost a pint in Dortmund. That third goal he scored out there as well.
That was crazy.
I lost a pint, so if I ever meet him in the pub, he better be buying me one back for that because I had to throw it because I was celebrating so much. So
yeah, but part of me at Ibrox, the culture at Ibrox the last couple of seasons, is we've lost such a big amount of talent with potential transfer fees on cheap transfers.
Yeah,
we spoke about Morelos and Kent, even Hollander. If Hollander's playing well, that contract's worth a few million as well.
Yep.
And then this season we've got all these players that are worth a few bob as well.
Yep.
Barisic, World Cup semi-finalist with Croatia against Brazil.
Yep.
Kemal Roof, again, we probably wouldn't get much for him because of his injury. Lundstrom, again, we got him last season, a new contract last season, he was worth 4 or 5 million.
Yep.
So it's just great. And
Well,
Ryan
see-
Jack, maybe if he's on a contract, he's worth a couple million as well.
well, this leads me on to something for you right now. Would you sell Jack Butland, Si as well yourself? Because we're talking about timing of selling assets. So we're talking about guys that should we have sold Morelos, should we have sold Kent, Lundstrom, all these guys I mentioned just now.
My own opinion on that one would be that this won't happen. I don't think. No, I think that McCrory should be getting his chance. I don't think we should be buying a goalkeeper.
Yep.
Butland has served Rangers well this season, but I don't think he's as great a goalkeeper as we thought he was.
Yep.
His mistake in the cup final. So that was another goalkeeper who was slow off it, to be fair.
Yep. Yep.
He's done as well, but we need to get a quota for Scottish players. We need Scottish players in the team and the squad, and that would answer the question. And I think McCrory deserves a chance. He's been loyal to Rangers.
Yep.
I can't think of a bad game he's played with Rangers.
No,
I remember a couple of years ago he played a spell and he played a really a game against Celtic at Ibrox and he had two. We ended up winning the game because he saves in the last 10 minutes. So,
Yep.
so yeah. So
but no, I think that's one we were talking about cashing in assets at the right time. See, for me, to be honest with you, I think it's the right time to cash in on it.
Well,
just get the money for it.
We
It reminds me, sorry, a wee bit about, this is maybe before your time, but we signed Andy Gorham. The reason we signed Andy Gorham, Chris Woods was a great goalkeeper,
Yep.
but the four Scottish players, well, I think it was
three or four.
Aye.
Yeah, you're only allowed.
sense to replace the goal.
Well, it was the other way around. It was the 92-93 season. We were only allowed 3 foreigners to play in Europe for that kind of side of things. So
Yeah.
aye, so it was Haitley, Hustra, Mikhailchenko was the foreigners for us at that point. So that's why. But
So all in all, then a roller coaster season with 2 managers. The highs and lows again. We had a good European run in the end. We just missed out on getting through to the quarterfinals. We won a trophy. We found ourselves way behind the league, but clawed ourselves back. So at one point we were the favourites for the league.
Yep.
We blew that, and then we get to the quarter-final and we lose in the last minute. So it was just one of these seasons where it's like it's an actual trophy.
it's the fine margins
found
of
ourselves
it. There's just
way behind
some
the
really
league. We clawed
disappointing
ourselves back.
performances
So
at
at one point
the
we were favourites
wrong
for the
time of the season, and against the wrong
blew that,
opposition.
and then we get to the
The
quarter-final
fact that we
and
never
lose in
took
the
3
last
points
minute.
off them
So
at
it
any
was
point
one
in
of
the
these
season is
seasons
just
where it's like,
that's
yeah, it's an
absolutely
absolute
it's
waste.
12 points in your last 20 of it. There's just some really disappointing performances at the wrong time of the season, and against the wrong opposition. The fact that we never took 3 points off them at any point in the season is just absolutely it's 12 points in your last 20 of it. There's just some really disappointing performances at the wrong time of the season, and against the wrong opposition. The fact that we never took 3 points off them at any point in the season is just absolutely it's 12 points in your last 20 of it. There's just some really disappointing performances at the wrong time of the season, and against the wrong opposition. The fact that we never took 3 points off them at any point in the season is just absolutely it's 12 points in your last 20 of it. There's just some really disappointing performances at the wrong time of the season, and against the wrong opposition. The fact that we never took 3 points off them at any point in the season is just absolutely it's 12 points in your last 20 of it. There's just always talking It's really disappointing just to watch the losers right now. There's no against this Rangers team. It's only the fact that we took 3 goals in time, one-stream embarrassing. That's this Rangers team because that's the 12 points in the last 12. It's just always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. There's no against this Rangers team. It's only the fact that we took 3 goals. You can't embarrassing. That's this Rangers team because that's the 12 points in the last 12. It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. There's no against this Rangers team. That's the fact that we to watch you can't embarrassing. That's this Rangers team because that's the 12 points in the last 12. It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. There's no against this Rangers team. That's the fact that we you can't embarrassing. That's this Rangers team because that's the 12 points in the last 12. It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. I don't think there's no sense. To be honest with you, that's the Rangers team. You can't look at the Rangers team because that's the 12 points in the last 12. It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. I don't think there's no sense. To be honest with you, that's the Rangers team. Go on a goal see from me, I think it's chucked already. It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. I don't think there's no sense. To be honest with you, that's the Rangers team. Maybe have a signed quadruple. It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. I don't think there's no sense. To be honest with you, that's the Rangers team. Maybe have a signed quadruple.
And that undoubtedly with the size of your
It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. Maybe have a signed 12 days or something like that. Something mental like that. SFA done it. It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. Maybe have a signed 12 days or something like that. Something mental like that. SFA done it. It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. Maybe 12 days or something like that. Something mental like that. SFA done it. It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. Maybe 12 days or something like that. Something mental like that. SFA done it. It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. I showed you the desk. Beale was available. Roof was available. Desk was not SFA done it. It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. I showed you the desk. Beale was available. Roof was available. Desk was not SFA done it. It's always talking. It's really disappointing to watch the losers right now. Liked around the club liked around the club and then obviously the Brazilian boy Hefty and then obviously the Brazilian boy Hefty and then obviously the Brazilian boy Hefty And then obviously the Brazilian boy Hefty. 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 Brazilian boy Hefty. Regenerating. Brazilian boy Hefty. Regenerating. Brazilian boy Hefty. Regenerating. Just about Morelos, live on Gers TV. Sorry. Regenerating. Blackpool special is it? Just Blackpool runner. Morelos, live on Gers TV. Sorry. Regenerating. Blackpool special is it? Just Blackpool runner. Morelos, live on Gers TV. Sorry. Regenerating. Blackpool special is it? Just Blackpool runner. Morelos, live on Gers TV. Sorry. Blackpool special is it? Just Blackpool runner. Morelos, live on Gers TV. Sorry. Blackpool special is it? Just Blackpool runner. Morelos, live on Gers TV. Sorry. Blackpool special is it? Just Blackpool runner. Morelos, live on Gers TV. Sorry. Blackpool special is it? Just Blackpool runner. Morelos, live on Gers TV. Sorry. Blackpool special is it? Just Blackpool runner. Morelos, live on Gers TV. Sorry.